May the 4th be with you, or if you're watching this today, may the 3rd Star Wars you. I don't know, man. I'm just excited that there's another Star Wars day right around the corner. And this year, I've been thinking about all those characters from the galaxy far, far away that are no longer with us. And no, I'm not talking about Han Solo or Darth Vader. They're normal dead. I'm talking about all those characters who did not survive when Disney bought Lucasfilm in 2012. I'm talking about those characters from the expanded universe for whom fans had to pour out their blue milk on the nearest curb because dozens of them and dozens of storylines were shoved into the trash compactor of history. Now, certain fan favorites have eventually made the leap from Star Wars Legends to part of the modern canon, but others are still left waiting, like so many Boba Fetts and so many Sarlacc pits. So in honor of this year's Star Wars Day, we're gonna celebrate the best Star Wars Legends characters who are no longer canon. And chug some blue milk. Darth Revan. Look, I think I speak for all of us when I say give us a damn Knights of the Old Republic movie or Netflix series, come on! But more importantly, give us Darth Revan. I mean, even Kylo Ren is trying to swagger jack this guy, but he doesn't even come close with that mask. This guy has kicked all types of butt, good, evil, in between, you name it. As a Jedi, he broke with the Jedi Council to become Supreme Commander of the Republic forces during the Mandalorian War. He turned to the dark side and started a Jedi Civil War. After being kidnapped and brainwashed into being a good boy, he laid the smackdown on his traitor's former Sith apprentice. But no, by all means, let's not do Darth Revan. Let's just keep seeing how Death Star plans get stolen, or how Han Solo legally changed his name from Han Solowitz at Space Ellis Island. That sounds much better than exploring the Old Republic timeline, right? Boring old Knights of the Old Republic, said literally no one ever. What are you doing? Kyle Katarn. Anyone who grew up playing Star Wars video games has likely spent a significant and possibly unhealthy amount of time in Kyle Katarn's shoes, and for good reason. He kicks ass, takes names, and betrays the Empire to become the hero the galaxy needs. Now, before there was Jyn Erso, it was actually Kyle Katarn who stole the first Death Star plans. Sure, his storyline now parallels Finn's in some eerily similar ways, but the Empire was a sprawling organization. There's bound to be more than one former stormtrooper willing to spare a rebel's life, right? Eventually taking up lightsabers against their former employers, right? I mean, seriously. Just give us a movie of Kyle Katarn fighting Imperial remnants and eventually going on to train Jedi alongside Luke Skywalker at the Jedi Academy before Kylo and his friends straight up ruin everything like those dang teens always do. Doesn't that sound like fun? I think so. Mara Jade. Ask anyone who most deserves to return to the EU, and they'll tell you the United Kingdom because you're probably talking to a real smartass. Ask anyone else, though, and they'll say Mara Jade, the red-headed badass introduced an heir to the Empire who served as one of the Emperor's elite special agents who was tasked with murdering none other than Luke Skywalker, but wound up, twist, becoming his wife.
My wife.
Now, given that Luke is already gonna have his hands full with training Rey in The Last Jedi, it's unlikely we're gonna see Mara Jade anytime soon, but what about, and hear me out, a prequel spin-off? Or maybe she could be one of Luke's apprentices who was murdered by the Knights of Ren, which would leave an extra bitter taste in Luke's mouth when it comes to the Jedi. Kind of like my mouth when I try to homebrew Bantha milk. Seriously, don't try it. It's a fool's errand. Natasi Dalla. There are some certifiable bad bitches in the galaxy far, far away, and Natasi Dalla is one you most definitely don't want to mess with. She broke the glass ceiling in a fascist empire, guys. Do you understand how goddamn hard that is? They're fascists. Stationed far, far away on the Maw installation by Grand Moff Tarkin, she oversaw all development of new Imperial superweapons. When she finally learned the Empire was collapsing, she didn't just throw in the towel and retire to Jakku to eat portions. She kept sabotaging and murdering her way to the top, using all manner of Star Destroyers, superweapons, and some good old-fashioned elbow grease, which is her nickname for poison gas, which she used on her fellow Imperial warlords when they disagreed with her. Basically, she was a huge thorn in the Rebel Alliance and New Republic's side. At one point, she was actually imprisoned as the result of a coup, but she managed to break out and take sweet, delicious revenge thanks to Boba Fett's help. Now picture this, a Boba Fett-centric House of Cards spin-off with Julianne Moore as Natasi Dalla. See, now that is something I'd actually watch, unlike whatever the hell they're actually doing with Boba Fett right now. Wraith Squadron. Now look, technically this is a collection of characters and their leader Wedge Antilles is already super canon, but the galaxy far, far away is a lot sadder without an elite unit of starfighter commandos under Admiral Akbar's command in it, if you ask me. And probably Rachel Hine. Now, Rogue One was a decent start, but this could actually make one hell of an ongoing series about a crew of Black Ops fighter pilots that are sent to tackle missions that are too sensitive for the rest of the Rebel Alliance to handle. And honestly, who wouldn't want a Top Gun spy thriller in space? If the answer is you, then kindly direct yourself to the nearest mirror and take a long, hard look at what you've become. Jackson. If a 7-foot-tall crossbow-wielding dog man can become a fan favorite, then why not a wisecracking green bunny in a red jumpsuit? It's a question that's been asked since Jackson was first introduced in a 1978 Star Wars comic. He's a goofy, kind of badass character that has somehow withstood the test of time, mainly with those who actually write expanded universe stuff. Created by comics legends Roy Thomas and Howard Chaykin, Jackson is a gigantic, green, quick-witted anthropomorphic rabbit who just so happens to also be an ace smuggler. And look, he might not be as imposing as K2SO, but this big green bunny will go in guns akimbo and emerge victorious. And don't you want to see that on the big screen? Because right now, the closest we've come is this guy.
Xmas Jackson Flaxen Waxen.
Koren Horn. The galaxy far, far away has a proud tradition of skilled pilots discovering their latent Jedi powers and becoming galaxy-saving heroes, and Koren Horn is no exception. He helped liberate Coruscant, he curved Luke Skywalker so he could become a member of Rogue Squadron instead, and eventually decided to become a Jedi only so he could rescue his kidnapped wife. And after that, he decided to become a chill-ass Jedi instructor and member of the Jedi Council. Still not convinced we need this guy? Well, how about this? The guy has a silver lightsaber. How sweet is that? Red, green, purple, hell no, silver all day, thank you very much. Dash Rendar. Okay, is he the Tab Cola version of Han Solo? Yes. Does he drive around in a starship that's basically cosplaying as the Millennium Falcon? Okay, yes, he does. Instead of Chewbacca, does he pal around with a trusty droid sidekick named Lebo, who's basically a stand-in for Chewbacca? Sure. But is he near and dear to my heart no matter what, because N64 Shadows of the Empire game was legit great? Haha, you better believe it, buddy. And now that there's a major Han Solo-shaped hole in both Han and the Star Wars universe, what better time to introduce a Corellian smuggler for a new generation than right now, Kathleen Kennedy, who I hope is watching? And those, my Broby-Wans, are the best Star Wars Legends characters who are no longer canon. Someday they might finally claw their way back to relevancy, in which case this video will no longer be canon itself, or Danon as I like to call it. But tell me, who is your favorite? Who would you add to this list? Because I know I left out a ton. There's so many characters. Sorry, Jason. Sorry, Cade. Sorry, everyone else. Let me know in the comments below and give me a midichlorian-fueled thumbs up while you're there. Now be sure to tune in next week when we talk about the heartwarming story of a mischievous orphan who befriends an orca whale that gets called up to play baseball while all the men are off fighting World War II in a free will league of their own. Until next time, keep on digging. Let's open up the old mailbag, shall we? At punintended138 asks, can you give a 5-second summary of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Sure thing. Let's start the clock, shall we? The MCU is the ongoing story of a series of spandex-clad misfits who are really hot that have to come together to fight sky portals, hordes of gray enemies, and learn a series of important lessons before eventually preventing purple-faced Josh Brolin from getting Jeff Moncalabi to destroy the universe. I hope that explanation suffices for you, but tell me, how would you explain the MCU in 5 seconds or less? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time.